2022 has been a rough year with a war, inflation, and impending recession, and the start of a bear market. Just what can we expect in 2023, and should we be worried? Holy banana bread, let's do this! There is no doubt that the world of finance has been very interesting since the pandemic began back in 2020. We saw a pandemic that kicked off with a mini 2-month recession, and then, with a whole bunch of supports, we had a market on steroids with an influx of a lot of retail money. 2021 turned into a nice bull market with many days of new all-time highs on the S&P 500. However, along came 2022 and the end of that bull market, and also an end to the financial COVID supports. The market stopped soaring and it came in for a landing well in bear territory. With supply chain issues coming front and center, inflation, rate hikes, and the dry up of retail money, economies began to falter, and recession became the talk of the town. However, a strong jobs market was foiling that party, and we made it out without an official recession taking hold. Can we keep staving off the recession in 2023? And what about rate hikes, inflation, and the job market? How exactly is 2023 going to shape up? Before we pull out the crystal ball, tell me in the comments your biggest predictions for 2023. We'll see if any of us are right. Thank you for dropping in on the home of free financial content on YouTube. While you are here, please feel free to like and subscribe, as you don't want to miss a single moment, and a huge thank you for that click. Let's get this out of the way up front. These are merely predictions and are absolutely subject to be wrong. These are where the markets, economy, and world appear to be going with the current information available. Black swan events or even just changing political landscapes can impact any of my predictions big time. However, it could be fun to revisit these at the end of 2023 and see how right or wrong I am. Without any further ado, let's start peering into that financial crystal ball. Will we get a recession in 2023? I think in regard to a recession, it is almost a given that we will see one in 2023. In the US, I think we will have a deeper recession than what we're going to see in Canada, and I also think the US recession will be called sooner than the Canadian one. In Canada, it will not be a bad recession, and that is mainly due to the strength of our job market. Unemployment is at a low of 5.1% as of November, and we added 0.1% to the workforce in that same month. Even if we see some contraction of jobs, these numbers have a long way to go before becoming problematic. In addition, I am expecting a boost to Canada's economy from at least 2 sectors, which we will talk about before the end of this video. Will inflation come down? Once the past and any future rate hikes have a chance to fully filter into the overall system, we should see a reduction in inflation. The question may need to be if we are going to hit the 2 to 3% inflation targets. That is a fantastic question, as I think we have very little chance of hitting it with our CPI, mostly because there are a lot of external factors that can inflate both fuel and food. However, core CPI, which removes food and fuel from the equation, has a better chance of hitting the target. With that, of course, being said, I still don't think we can do it in 2023. I believe we may be able to get down to 4%, but that 2 to 3% will be just out of reach this year. What about interest rates? Interest rates will continue to rise in both Canada and the US through the winter months without question. It will then come down to whether we are seeing better inflation numbers, and I do believe we will see them moving in the right direction, but perhaps not as fast as the Fed or the Bank of Canada would like to see. In the spring, this would mean a few more hikes, but much smaller ones, and then a pause on hikes as we enter the summer. The good news is that even though we don't hit our inflation targets, the movement down in the fall will be significant enough that we could actually see a small rate cut in both Canada and the US. Will the bear market end? I do believe we will see the end of the bear market in 2023. However, I do not believe we have hit the bottom yet. For the rest of the winter, I do see more red days than green and an overall flat trend with one last bigger drop ahead. That big drop in early spring will take us to the bottom. I do know that some analysts believe it will be another massive drop of anywhere from 20 to 25% or maybe even higher, but I do not think it will be as bad as they think it will be. One thing I like to remember is that the market was inflated with all that retail money in 2021, so the drops into the bear market looked much worse than they actually were. Taking that into account, I am anticipating the final drop to be roughly 10%, plus or minus maybe a few percent. So 8 to 12%. I will also add that I do believe the beginnings of the next bull market will come before the end of 2023. There will more than likely be a month or more of sideways action bridging us from the bottom to the beginnings of a rise that eventually turns into that bull market by the end of the year. Will crypto recover? The simple answer is no. Most of the highs that crypto experienced in 2022 were of course due to a lot of that extra retail money in the market. That money is gone and it will not be returning. For crypto to return to its former glory, there needs to be an influx of cash, and that will only happen if, well, institutional investors decide to get into Bitcoin or other crypto. It'll probably start with Bitcoin, then filter over. The lack of regulation is what is holding them back. That fear has been hammered home this year with the collapse of many crypto exchanges, and we may see a few more collapses yet to come. There is a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt when it comes to crypto, and only with regulation are we going to be able to restore a lot of faith in the crypto market. In 2023, I do see us moving towards regulation, but it will not come probably until 2024 or even 2025. The good news is that it is very unlikely that we will see another major drop in Bitcoin, although it is within reason to see it drop as low as 10,000, but I do believe that would be the bottom. Is the housing market bubble going to burst? There will not be any bubble bursting in 2023. There will still be pain in the market in early 2023 as prices continue to drop, but not nearly as bad as in 2022. Prices will begin to slowly stop dropping and stabilize as we move deeper into the year, and the rate hikes slow down or stop, thus providing people with more certainty in that housing market. If we see a small cut by the end of the year in interest rates, that will only make people more interested in returning to the market, especially if the rental market continues to bolster higher rents. What will be the best two sectors? My first pick is the energy sector, and this is despite the decline in oil over the later part of 2022. The reality is that we still have an energy crisis, and we have a depleted strategic oil reserve in the United States that will have to be addressed, as in the U.S. needs to buy oil to top it back up. Many economists believe we will see $100 barrels of oil again in 2023, and I think they are right. The second sector I am bullish on in 2023 is Canada's natural resource sector. There is a demand for our critical minerals, and that demand is only going to get stronger as more and more Western world countries move away from China. The Canadian government and the U.S. military want to develop this sector more, and I can't help but see that as an opportunity in 2023. What will be the worst two sectors? I do not think this is as clear-cut as the best sectors, but I will take a shot at it. One sector that does concern me is the financial sector. Despite the extra revenue they will make with the rise in interest rates, I still think they have to absorb a lot of bad debt in the year as bankruptcies continue and people default on credit cards and the like. The good news is that it will not be as bad as the latter half of 2022, but it will be a rough start to 2023, and there may be some recovery for the sector, though, in the second half of the year. My second pick is real estate, and once again, this is going to be a similar tune as with financials. They will have to deal with higher interest rates, renters not paying rent, and other issues with the economy. I do not think it will be as bad as financials, and I also see this sector doing much better in the second half of the year. Will the labor shortage end? The answer to this is simply no. We are in a situation where more baby boomers are leaving the workforce than new workers entering it. Labor shortages may be the new norm for a while. I do think we will begin to adapt to the new normal, as some companies will move more and more into automation, and it will get better because of that. The silver lining is that even with layoffs in the coming recession, the labor shortage will help to lessen the overall effect, and that is one more reason the coming recession may not be a long one or a severe one. Predict a black swan event. Oh gosh, this is going to be the fun one. I will try to predict something that we could never see coming. If I am somehow right on this one, I may just have to take up soothsaying as a side hustle. Alright, here it is. Elon Musk is going to introduce to the world the first Elon bot. It will be a robot with a rudimentary upload of Elon's consciousness. If Elon has yet to fill the CEO role of Twitter, he'll name the Elon bot to the job. Holy banana bread. If that one does turn out to be right, I may request a 2023 do-over. The fun does not have to end here. Check out my video on the purpose high yield shares that I will link on the left. Otherwise, Check out the video on the right that YouTube thinks you will like. Your click will decide who is right, and I will see you in the next video.